So good morning, everyone. My name is Jenny Sharkey, and sort of to add on to what Mariah and Serena just talked about, what we're going to talk about today is really giving you that perspective of the CalFresh recipients. All of you will be working with folks who qualify for CalFresh, and so it's good for you to know a little bit about that population, which probably is most of us also. Did anyone, well, I have a story. When I was in 4th grade, I remember my mom saying, don't drink the last of that milk. That milk has to get us till Friday. That's when payday is. Did anyone have that experience when they were growing up? Okay, so that is often the experience that some of the kids that we're working with in the classrooms or some of the families that we're working with, they're working with very limited budgets. So it's important, if you haven't had that experience, it's important for you to sort of think about that as something different that families are going through. And that's a lot about CalFresh will give you sort of that understanding so you can provide the nutrition education so that you'll be able to communicate it in a way that they'll be able to hear it. So CalFresh is basically, the federal name is Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program. It was previously known as food stamps. Probably about 4 years ago, 5 years ago, they changed the name to SNAP with an S. And then California changed it to CalFresh. So when you hear CalFresh, it's the same as SNAP, which was previously known as food stamps. And the reason why they changed it is they wanted to promote healthy eating. And so if you saw the logo, it's got the fresh fruits and vegetables in the middle of it. And that's really about promoting healthy eating using your CalFresh dollars. So basically, as you might guess, CalFresh allows low-income households to obtain a more nutritious diet by increasing their purchasing power through the use of an EBT card. Does anyone remember the little food stamp booklets? So now they don't get a food stamp booklet, you get actually an EBT card. So it just looks like a regular bank card, and actually all public benefits go on an EBT card. So if someone's using the EBT card, it could be CalFresh, it could be CalWorks, it could be other benefits. In California, we rank among last in the country as far as our participation rates. It's estimated that 2.2 million Californians are eligible but not participating in the CalFresh program. So with that, we lose $4.9 billion per year in federal benefits. So basically, all the CalFresh dollars that go to folks in our communities come directly from the feds. And when we do not have people signed up for benefits that qualify, we're actually losing out on federal dollars. So that's the $4.9 billion per year. And as you might guess, with sort of the economic situation right now and the lack of jobs out there, more and more families are food insecure and driven for nutrition. So you know when you have a very limited budget, you have a very limited shopping list, and often you're going for foods that are going to feed your kids' bellies or feed your belly, which aren't always going to be the nutritious choice, but it's cheaper. You know, Top Ramen, who eats Top Ramen? Okay, you don't have to raise your hand. But basically, you know, you can get a big old box of Top Ramen for a couple dollars. That's a couple meals. Is that the most nutritious? Probably not, but how do we make it more? Putting food choices in with nutrition, or dollar choices in with nutrition. And often higher obesity rates among food insecure families. Oh, most of the families that are eligible are actually the working poor. So they are families that have jobs. They're just working paycheck to paycheck and again have that limited income. Good for the state, good for the community. Basically, families receiving the benefits, they have more money to spend at local food stores as well as more to spend on taxable goods. So that benefits everyone in the community because those additional dollars are coming in to our community and folks are spending that at farmers markets local grocery stores, and then the tax base, they're often paying taxes on their items that they're using, and again, that benefits the whole community. So, in addition to helping people put food on the table, CalFresh exerts a multiplier effect that stimulates the economy. So they've done studies which basically say that for every dollar that comes from the feds, that's a CalFresh dollar, the economic activity that stimulates $1.79 in economic activity. So it stimulates that dollar coming in, does all of the, you have to have people who are working in those stores, you have to have farmers who are producing it, and in Butte County, and I'll just give you the local effect just for Butte County, but we have stats on all of the counties that we work in. But for Butte County, we have 29,552 residents who are eligible but are not actually signed up for CalFresh. So if all of these residents who were eligible actually signed up, Butte County would receive an additional $40.5 million annually in federal funds. So this little Butte County, rural county, I think we could use $40.5 million. You think so? And if you put the multiplier effect on it, it's $72.5 million. So this is how that effect of those local CalFresh dollars coming in affect our programming. So not only is it good for us to know about the CalFresh population, but it's also good because all of the programs that you guys are working in, not only are you working with the CalFresh population, but our dollars that allow us to do nutrition education are actually based on the number of people who are signed up. So more people signed up, more money coming into our community, more nutrition education. It's all good. So, and all of us will be doing CalFresh Outreach in some form, which we'll get to. But basically, because these folks weren't registered in CalFresh, Butte County missed out on $72.5 million last year due to underutilization of the CalFresh program. So essentially, CalFresh, the majority of it, people buy fruits, vegetables, grain products, and meat account for most of the money value of food used by CalFresh households. On average, 1 billion of retail food demand by CalFresh recipients generates 3,300 farm jobs, which is really important for the far north, those farm jobs, as was mentioned earlier. And actually, all of the farmers markets in Butte County accept the EBT card. So when you're out there, you can actually promote that if you know someone is a CalFresh recipient. Promote going to the farmers market. And we actually have a full list of all of the ones that are in Gridley and Orville and Paradise and Chico that we will make sure that you guys have as a resource. The other thing is EBT cards can be used to buy seedlings so folks can grow their own food. So if they happen to be a future farmer or maybe just a backyard farmer and they could grow their own tomatoes. Most of us know like a fresh backyard grown tomato tastes a lot better than the tomato that you can get in a store that has been traveled, that was picked before it was even ripe, and it can make a difference to a kid or a family who maybe doesn't want to try tomato. Well, if you've had one of the ones that has, is in the store that traveled and was picked before it was ripe, you might not like tomatoes. And you might grow up never liking tomatoes. And then you have one that is from someone's backyard. And, oh my gosh, I love tomatoes. Sort of gives you an example of what a typical recipient might look like. Most, about half of the recipients who are on CalFresh are actually kids. A lot of single parents, but not always. Sometimes it's just, especially in the economic situation that we're in right now, it could be that mom or dad just got laid off. It could be folks who are in their older years who have been recently laid off. And another video, did anyone see the video yesterday that Amy shared of the man who retired? So yeah, I mean, he had his BA degree, and here he is, he was 5 years from retiring and got laid off, and he's struggling paycheck to paycheck. So it's just good for all of us, I think, just to have that perspective, like, of what it is like being out there when you're struggling yourself. Food stamps or CalFresh is just a way to sort of help you through, provide basic needs. So, of course, incomes and expenses are used to determine eligibility, and I'm going to go through the next slide a little bit faster. CalFresh household is an individual family group of people who purchase and prepare their food together. Now, this is good for you all to know, because how many of you guys have a roommate? So if you, with your roommate, go shopping and prepare food together, you're considered a household. But if you don't, if you guys both, if you shop and purchase food and make food on your own, then you're considered your own household, even though you live together. So that is sometimes helpful as far as determining whether you might qualify for CalFresh. Actually, students are one of the target populations for CalFresh. So I think the next slide. Student eligibility, you have to meet all those income guidelines, but you also must meet one of the basic, or one of the more criteria that are listed here. So you have to be enrolled at least half-time, working at least 20 hours per week, or you could be approved for state or federally funded work study, receiving CalWorks, a full-time student with a child under 12, or a half-time student with a child under 6. So if you have one of those, then you likely will qualify unless you're making a lot of money, which students typically aren't. And I remember being a student, and I remember eating a lot of peanut butter and jelly sandwiches. So I know that if that's something that you feel like might be an option for you, please fill out the application. We can help you, or we can walk you through the process. And that is basically what outreach is. So CalFresh, those are the actual dollars. Those are the actual cards, EBT cards that are out in the community. And then when you add the outreach, that's what my job is as CalFresh Outreach Director. We have a contract with the Department of Public Health. I'm one of 7 people in the state who oversee that contract. And we basically contract with 12 subcontractors who provide CalFresh Outreach in 15 counties in the far north. So we work with all the counties, basically from Yuba County up. And we basically help people go through the process. These 2.2 million eligible in California who are not participating who have access to the program. We help screen them. Sometimes people aren't sure, and sometimes if we have a couple of questions that just kind of walks them through it really quick to see. Because do you want to go through the whole application process? If you know you don't qualify, well, sometimes having that pre-screener gives you an idea that it looks like you might qualify. We also let households know what to expect throughout the process. So if you, well, let's see, raise your hand if you know of someone who has received public benefits. Okay, so a lot of you. Usually some of the stories that I hear is that it can be challenging to figure out the paperwork or figure out the process or get in contact with your eligibility worker. And so that's where outreach staff come in to sort of help with the process. We might help explain the process. We might help with the application. We might actually, for a particular person, we might actually go down to the social service office with them. Sometimes they'll get a denial letter or they'll get something in the mail and they'll bring it to us and then we say, oh, well, you know, that doesn't make sense. Let me see if I can follow up on it. And so, or it might be, yeah, that's what it is. We help them gather the documentation. If you look at the documentation, for example, a birth certificate's on there. I don't know where my birth certificate is. Do you know where yours is? So, well, good. About half of you are raising your head. Yes. The other half of us are thinking, it's in a box somewhere. Spread correct, non-biased information about the program. Often when we're out there, people will say, hey, well, I heard this or I heard that. And so we try and demystify the myths that might be out there. And really, we try to reach the hard to reach populations. They're the people who are out there who are sort of live in communities that are not as open, they're more secluded. So this is a list of all of our subcontractors, and you can kind of see, so these are the 12 subcontractors that we work with. Caring Choices, partnership with social work, and actually I have 3 social work interns this semester who you'll probably see their face. Are they, can you stand up if you're one of the social work interns? Okay, Brenda's here, and Malai, and there's another gal, Athena. So we partner with social work to basically provide CalFresh Outreach. The promotion part of it, well, at the top here it says CalFresh promotion versus outreach. So those of us who are actually helping people with the applications, we fall into the outreach part of it. But everyone else, if you're not part of the CalFresh Outreach team, you are part of the promotion team. So everyone else can help distribute CalFresh materials. You can attend community events. You can hand out applications. You can invite partners to your events. So if your school or community partner has an event and you think, oh, it might be good to have a CalFresh Outreach table right next to me, you can invite us to come. And you can also refer, if you're talking with families, you could refer them to the actual county welfare departments or to us. And our outreach staff, so not only do we have a partnership with social work, but they're just starting, so you probably won't see them out in the field, but Heidi and Alicia, can you guys stand up just so people? So Heidi and Alicia are part of the CalFresh Outreach staff, and you will see them out in the field, and they may be the person who is actually coming to do your parent presentation or your provider presentation, or to actually be at your event and have a table there, or to actually help people through that application process. So that's basically it as far as the overview with CalFresh, and then the overview of outreach and how we can be of assistance to you. And hopefully you have a better picture of how it folds into what you're doing at SNAP, because basically SNAP is all about nutrition education, physical activity, and food access. So we're the food access side of it, and if you have any ideas or have any suggestions or want to invite us, we're absolutely part of your work too. So are there any questions?
Why is the participation rate in California so low?
Well, there are a lot of reasons for that, but part of it is, for example, in the far north, we have some folks who sort of feel like, oh, no, I don't want to apply for CalFresh. No, they never thought that they would be that family who needed CalFresh. We also have board of supervisors who are not necessarily in support of public benefits. We've actually had to, sometimes we have had board of supervisors who basically did not want CalFresh Outreach in their county. And I'm just talking about the far north. But so, I mean, it's a balance. You kind of like, you have to look at it in 2 ways. Depending on who I'm talking to, I usually will, I can pull at your heartstrings. When you see a single dad and his kid, and they're, like, he drives to school and then he stays there all day because he doesn't have enough gas to go home and then come back, because he doesn't eat the last month of the week because he makes sure his kid has food all week, or all month, with his CalFresh distribution. I can pull your heartstrings, or I can pull at the economic activity. Like, basically, when all those dollars come into our county, I mean, Butte County, $40.5 million. It's a lot of dollars. That benefits everyone. So it's sometimes the bureaucracy, but sometimes it's the individual. But California is definitely really trying hard to get that participation rate up, because the SNAP Ed dollars, which are funding all the nutrition ed, are actually starting to go down. And we want the CalFresh enrollment to go up, because it will level off the dollars.
It just seems like the factors you mentioned would also exist in other states. So I'm just wondering why specifically California is so low, because those same kinds of things you mentioned, I'm sure, are prevalent in other states too.
Yeah, yeah,
So it's like, it seems like there's a missing
yeah.
link.
Yeah, and some of it is, if you're in Tehama County, what I hear about Tehama County is they're like, great, come on in, we want to sign you up and get you processed. And for example, Butte County, they've got tons more workload, and it's a little bit harder to go through the process in Butte County, where outreach is really important in Butte County. So there's all different kinds of factors. There are individual factors, and then there's bureaucracy factors too. So, yeah, but the goal is to get it up. Any other questions? Okay, well, great, thanks you guys.